Here we are at geogebra.org, and we are going to do some transformations. So I am going to start a calculator. I think the easiest one for us to work with is just going to be the standard calculator. And you'll notice that this has a place where you can type in things so that you can give like algebraic representations for things, and over on the right is where things are graphed and drawn. We're going to hide all of the algebraic stuff in the graphing, so we're not going to do anything with axes or a grid. No grid, please. And we are going to use GeoGebra to do some constructions. And we're primarily going to use this geometry tools thing in the middle. And everything that underlies what GeoGebra does is represented algebraically as well as geometrically. And so if you ever need to look at the algebraic format or look at the names of things, then you can switch from the algebra to the geometry tab over here for the tools. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to create a shape that is not symmetric, so we can tell if it's been rotated or reflected. And we're going to do that using the there should be a tool that makes polygons. There we go. Polygons. We're going to make a polygon. We do not want a regular polygon. We want a polygon. And so we are going to make a shape that is not, oh, I have made a mistake already. Undo. So when I do this, GeoGebra is going to attach names to everything, and it's going to be confusing. And so I am going to change my settings so that I don't have too many labels. So instead of labeling everything, we are just going to label the points. Nothing else gets a label that's on screen. Everything is going to have a named label that will show up in this algebra list. Okay, back to making a polygon. My goal is just to make something that is closed. So that means I have to end at the same point I started at, but that is also definitely not symmetric. And so that looks pretty good. Now, I would actually like that to be smaller. And the best way for me to get that to be smaller is to zoom out. That looks good. In all of these tools, the most basic tool is move. And so if I click on the middle of my polygon, I can move it around like this. If I clicked on one of the points, it would move just the point. So there I have a shape. I think that'll do. And now I want to investigate what happens when I reflect it twice. So I'm going to make a reflection line. Every reflection is a reflection across a line. Reflect about a line, yes, but first I need the line. Points. Construct lines. There we go, lines. So I'm going to draw a line. That's going to be my first reflection line. I am going to name that line so I can keep track of it. In your assignment, I've asked you to label the first line that you reflect across L. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click, and I think you can do that with a shift click or something on a Mac. So I'm going to right click on that line, and that will let me pull up the settings for that line. And I am going to give it a caption. And the caption is going to be L. And it's going to automatically show that caption. So now my line is named L. Oh, and there I made another line. I didn't mean to make another line yet. Okay, another line, M. And here I'm going to go back to my move tool so I stop accidentally making lines. I'm going to go into settings. I'm going to give it a caption, M. So those are my two lines, L and M. I'm going to reflect first across L and then across M. In that same settings, you can change the color of something if that helps you keep track. And I'm going to change the color of things after I reflect them. So first I'm going to reflect this polygon across the line L. And so that is down here. Transform, reflect about line. So I am going to, it says select object to reflect and then line of reflection. And the reason why I had you start by drawing a polygon is because that's the easiest thing to select all of. Otherwise you have to reflect points in one by one. So, but here I can just click on that polygon and then I'm going to click on the line and it's going to reflect. And those A prime, B prime, C prime, D primes, that's your, hey, I've done one reflection. So the default labeling for these is to put a single prime after the letter when you do one transformation. And if I take that one transformation thing and I reflect it across this line, I still have reflect chosen. I'm going to get something with double primes. And I kind of like to have some colors here to help me out. So I'm going to go back to my move. I don't want to do any more reflections for a while. And I'm going to recolor these shapes. So let's see. I could go blue to green to yellow, or I could go blue to purple to red. I think I'm going to go blue to purple to red this time. Blue to purple, purple to red. That looks good. Okay, so that's the in-between step, and that red is the final step for the two reflections. And the nice thing about doing it this way is, make sure that I have my move tool selected, is that now I can get a lot of different reflections to look at without having to redraw them. So I can just move around that line L and you can see all the different things that happen when I just change L. And I can move around line M. And I can see different things that happen when I move line M. And I can set it up so they look parallel. I can set it up so they look perpendicular. I can set it up so that they have some other angle in between them.